Welcome back to my channel. When I sit down, I notice I got that hot oven thing going on. Every time I open that hot oven and the air whooshes up on me, it gets my fine hair and blows it up. So you can tell I just finished cooking. What I made this week, I didn't do a breakfast, but for lunch, I experimented. I made a Reuben Casserole when I was doing low carb. It was really good. Well, I love Reubens, but I didn't want to make Reuben sandwiches, and I didn't want to use corned beef because, like I said when I was cooking, my points are at a premium. 49 points a week might sound like a lot, but trust me, when you don't get any during the day, if you're trying to save that point for the weekend, or even if you use a few during the day, when you get to the weekend, 49 points is not a lot for one whole week. So you nip and tuck here and there. So I thought I wanted to try it with chicken. Total experiment, but let me be the one to tell you. I snuck a little taste after I served it up. Oh, it's good. I'll be making that again. I'm going to tell you what, it is so good. So if you love Reubens, and you've been wanting one, but you've not been wanting to spend your points on corned beef, I mean, if you do, that's fine. But if you don't, here is a definite way to go. If you did want a sandwich, you could even use like deli chicken that's 0 points. You could do that. I'm just here to tell you, with the dressing on it, the kraut, the cheese, you're going to see a little tip with the cheese. If you use fat-free cheese, stick around and see my tip for getting cheese that will actually spread and melt. Then for snack, I made apple spice oatmeal muffins. And those are something I think I made when I was on WW Blue. The recipe is on my website. I will type up a new recipe for the Reuben Casserole to reflect the chicken. And so it's going to be a good week. I'll tell you that. I'm ready to have lunch right now. That was, if I eat that for lunch today, I will only have 4 days of prep. And that's just not going to, no, 3 days of prep. That would get me Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And then, I don't know, it might happen. It might go down just like that. So that is it for this part of the video. Let's turn around and get started cooking. We're going to start with our apple spice oatmeal muffins. This is 3 cups of old-fashioned oatmeal. We just need a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of baking powder, and a teaspoon of apple pie spice. You can buy it, or I have a recipe for it on my website. You can see it's about time to make some more. And then we just want to set this aside and put together our wet ingredients. For the wet ingredients, I have 2 eggs. Just beat them up a little bit. To that, I want to add a 1/2 cup of non-fat plain Greek yogurt, 1/2 cup of unsweetened applesauce, 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Now, you can reduce the points if you use sugar substitute, but for this recipe, I like the real brown sugar. So let's just whisk this together right quick. Okay, you can see we smoothed out that yogurt, got rid of the little lumps and bumps of yogurt. Now we just need 2 teaspoons of vanilla and 1 cup of unsweetened almond milk. Now I could use regular skim milk because it's a simply filling food, but I decided just to leave it as the recipe is written. Now we just want to add in our oatmeal and other ingredients. Now we're just going to let this sit while we chop our apples. And what we need are just 2 small apples. So I'm just going to peel and dice these small. Here is our 2 diced apples. We just want to add that to the muffin mix. Fold it in. You can see how sitting there it had time to soak into the oatmeal and get a little bit thicker. So that's a step that I would not skip. Okay. Now I have my sprayed muffin pan. I like to use Baker's Joy just because it has flour in it. I'm using my large cookie scoop. Okay, as you can see, that gave us a nice full muffin tin. These are going to go in at 350 for about 30 minutes, but we're going to keep an eye on them. Okay, so the muffins are ready. I let them cool in the pan 5 minutes, no longer, because I don't want them to stick. And we're going to hope they don't stick this time. Uh-oh, I had a casualty. Let me get a knife to get that one out. Okay, that one came out easy enough to run a knife around it. So here are our muffins. They're moist, dense. They smell delicious. This one is already broken, so let me show you the inside. It's like a baked oatmeal. Now, as it sets up, it'll dry a little bit. It won't be as moist looking, but that's perfectly fine. That's what it's supposed to do. Now to start our chicken Reuben casserole, I've heated up my pan, kind of a big pan. Put just a little bit of avocado oil in there. And what I have here is 1.5 pounds of chicken breast that I cubed, diced, cut into chunks, whatever you want to call it. We are going to cook this until it is completely done. I want to give it a little bit of house seasoning. Not too much. And then instead of working on the dressing while this is cooking, I'm going to wait till it finishes because that sizzling gets kind of loud. So when this gets through, then we'll start on the dressing. Our chicken is done, so we will go ahead and mix up the sauce before we put the casserole together. This is just like a Thousand Island dressing. What I have in here is 5 tablespoons of mayonnaise. Now, y'all know I love Duke's, but I'm using David's Hellman's Light because points are at a premium, so I need to save where I can. 5 tablespoons of that. 3 tablespoons of ketchup. I'm using my tomato blood. I still think that's so funny. When I did this originally, it was on low carb, and I used the sugar-free ketchup. But ketchup is a simply filling food, so I don't have to worry about that. So I can use regular. Now, I already have 2 teaspoons of white vinegar in here because my bottle is one of those huge gallon bottles, and it was just too unwieldy to do on camera. To this, we need 1 teaspoon of your favorite sugar substitute. I use the Lakanto monk fruit. 1 teaspoon of onion powder. And 2 teaspoons of no sugar added sweet relish. If you add regular sweet relish, just make sure you count the points for it. And then all we have to do is whisk this together. Okay, we got all the mayonnaise smoothed out. It just makes a really pretty dressing. I'm going to set this aside and we'll get ready to assemble our casserole. To assemble our casserole, get an 8x8 inch baking dish, spray it, put our chicken on the bottom. I have the oven preheated to 400. You can see the chicken's completely done. Then on top of that, we're going to add 1 can of kraut, whichever kind you like. Just make sure you drain it and squeeze it dry. We don't want any extra liquid in this casserole. And then just spread it around. Next, we want to put our dressing over the top. Okay, now here is a little trick I want to show you. When your points are at a premium, you learn little tips and tricks to stretch them. On Simply Filling, fat-free cheese is 0 points. Is it your ideal cheese? No. Do I I'm going to just sit down and eat this by the spoonful. No, I don't mind it like in salads or mixed in something. It really does not bother me. It's not my preferred cheese, obviously, but when your points are at a premium, you pick and choose where you want to spend them. And cheese is not a game changer for me. Here's my trick. Get some plain non-fat Greek yogurt. We don't want much. Just enough to kind of moisten it up. Okay, maybe just a little more. We don't want a big globby mess. Okay, I think we got that. You can see all the cheese is coated, but you can still spread it. It's not a big, globby mess of yogurt. And then we just want to put this on top. See how we can still spread it around. That little bit of yogurt, you'd be surprised how much it helps this cheese spread instead of just sitting there like one big lump. Now, I hope it don't make me have to be a liar. And it works because I'm on camera. So this goes into a 400-degree oven for about 20 minutes until it gets warmed up and the cheese is melted. Here is our Reuben casserole after 30 minutes. You can see, let me get up closer, it's kind of heavy. See how that yogurt helped that cheese spread instead of laying there like a set of pickup sticks? Y'all remember pickup sticks? So I'm just dividing this into 4 servings. Okay, so here we go. Here is our chicken Reuben casserole. This turns out to be 2 points for me. And then our apple spice oatmeal muffins. They're not super sweet, so don't expect a cupcake, but they're sweet enough. These are, for me, two. I can get 2 for 1 point, which I'm not going to plan on eating 2, but if I decided I wanted to, it would be 1 point. Just because you can get it for for that don't mean you need to eat it. So I will share these with David. That is my prep for the week. I plan on doing some toad in the hole for breakfast, probably some hot cereal, egg sandwiches, just different things like that. Couldn't think of anything I wanted to prep. So that's it for me, and I will see you on my next video.